We got more clips from OTAs, and today we're going to be looking at the Carolina Panthers and looking at Bryce Young. Again, we're going to watch him throw the ball all over the yard, but before you do, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're going hard in the paint looking at these rookies from rookie camp to OTAs, mini camp, and training camp this summer on top of your favorite veterans. Looking at the storylines, looking at these players on new teams, players coming back from injuries, your favorite players. So you need to click that button right now so you can stop missing out on what's going on with your favorite team and players. We're looking at Bryce Young right now. We're going to watch him toss the ball around. The first set of clips are kind of new, and the back half is from last week. I threw those in. So we can talk more ball on Bryce Young, watching him sling the ball around. Panthers do a good job getting clips out on their players. The Panthers yesterday, from what I gather, is the first part of practice was not accessible to the media. Here they're looking at his feet and his footwork. And then the back half, they had a certain section where media was allowed to be there. That's why clips are limited. Xavier Legette was not out there when the media was out there. So I do not have any clips of that. I might find one or two from being shot miles away. You can barely see him. But Bryce Young here, slinging the rock. Can we take a step up in year 2? Can that possibly happen? We are seeing workout clips behind the scenes of Diontae Johnson. I saw those. I saw another one on Twitter today. Going to have to go over that on the channel. But he's looking crisp. He's looking a little thicker. And if he can take a step up, and if Bryce Young can lean into him, that could be the perfect match. Now you want to talk about Xavier Legette and him combined. Now you're looking at a big, fast wide receiver that you can move all over the place. Because if you put him on some drag routes, get him some space, he can create that separation, get you yards after the catch. Bryce Young coming out of Alabama. What did people like about him? What did we like about him? Fast mental processor, accurate downfield. What was the knock on him really? The size, mostly. And the fact that he got drafted to Carolina and you knew that there was some rebuilding to do. You cannot argue against that. We saw what we saw last year with the team. But new coaching staff here, looks like they really want to up the passing game. I can really understand why. I mean, they should. And then on top of that, they're bringing in some talent. We brought in 2 wide receivers of consequence. They brought in JT Sanders. They brought in a running back, Jonathan Brooks. Once Jonathan Brooks gets up to speed after the ACL injury, after the rehab, he's going to catch the ball in the backfield. They mentioned using the running backs in the passing game multiple times after the draft because they were excited about Jonathan Brooks. They needed an upgrade at the running back position. They needed their hoss. And if he can get up to speed looking like he was looking like on tape from Texas, this might be a team that turns around. There's a lot of what ifs, but this might be a team that turns around. And I know people say I talk about the good too much, but honestly, we know what the downside is. If things don't work out and it doesn't work out. Why focus on that? Why be negative? So the good things here, Bryce Young going into year 2, maybe he takes a step forward. The Panthers brought in 2 wide receivers. One, a big, fast wide receiver with a lot of upside, and Diontae Johnson. Going back to Xavier Legette, when you think about him going in the first round and compared to what was left on the board, I can see why people are complaining about the draft capital and opportunity costs. But he's now on the team. And when I think about the thought process of drafting a guy like Xavier Legette over some of the other wide receivers, some of the other wide receivers I did like better than him. But really, when I think about the thought process and what I say about his player profile is you're either going to get all or nothing out of a guy like this. And if I'm going to take a shot at a wide receiver, I'm going to take a shot at a player that has potential to turn my franchise around. Not be a ho-hum wide receiver 30 or 40 and make me feel good about the draft pick. I'm willing sometimes to get burned to shoot for that upside. And I think that's what they're doing here. He's a good fit in this offense too. You already got Diontae Johnson. You already got your route runners here. You already got Adam Thielen. You need some big fasts. You need some quicks. You need some big bodies there. You need some different wide receivers. You need some variance. You got Mingo here. He's not part of the staff's regime, though. They did not draft him. He's a developmental prospect. Legette is too, but he's faster. different after the catch. He's aggressive. He's assertive. And it really depends on how they use him. I would love to see him used more on like drag routes, but I know they're going to use him downfield. If they mix it up too, that would be great as well. But I can see him being nasty after the catch, especially when you can't go without looking at Diontae Johnson and company, because Diontae Johnson is ready to prove a point. With that route running separation, he's got to stay healthy. He's got to stay healthy. That was one of the knocks over in Pittsburgh. But I think Bryce Young has the capabilities of taking a step forward this year. And it might be more year 3. It might be more year 3 because there's a lot of moving parts right now. But he has the capabilities of looking better this year and then going blast off maybe next year. Maybe sooner than we think. There's a lot of moving parts with this team. I would say be patient. But when I look at the positives here, things are looking better for the Panthers. Things are looking better for Bryce Young. Things are looking better for this team. But I would exercise being patient because it may not be cracked up like that week 1. Give them some time to get things installed. Some marination here. Jonathan Brooks needs some time. We all know that. But I think Bryce Young's going to have that upside sooner than later. We all know the downside, so why stare at that in the face too long? That's how you get depressed. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.